Hey everybody, Jack from Jack's Meat Shack. Happy Traeger Day 2021. And what better way to celebrate than to cook a massive brisket. Now, this isn't any old brisket. This is a 30-day aged Stoddard's Angus beef brisket. Aged for me by Longcroft and Old in their aging room. And look at this thing. It is a beast. It is massive. So what we're going to do is, using my bestest butchery skills, is take it off the bone here, and then what we're going to do is just trim away some of the basically meat that's been aged, and obviously it's not going to be very nice to eat. Then we're going to get it in the Traeger and smoke it low and slow until it reaches optimum doneness. Everyone talks about when a brisket should be cooked, what sort of temperature. You're talking sort of high 90s, 93, 95 degrees Celsius. And everyone says, oh, it should probe like butter. What does that mean? Probe like butter means you should have zero resistance when you put your thermometer, thermopen, or even a knife into it. So no resistance into the meat means it's cooked. So yeah, let us crack on by taking this thing off the bone. Not gonna lie, a little bit nervous, don't really do a lot of butchery, but I've been assured by the guys at Longcroft and Old that it's quite a simple process. We're just gonna sort of follow this bone along and take off this big bit of rib. So let's do it. So let's give this a go. So basically we wanna follow this line here. There we go, made a nice incision here, and then we just want to follow this along really. Whew. There we go. That's the bone removed. Didn't go into the meat too much, a little bit there, but I'm no expert, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that is looking good. Obviously, we're gonna trim it up a little bit, make it look a little bit prettier. I wanna take away all this fat, which I will save for rendering down into beef tallow, but you can see that's the sort of color we want. Look at that, beautiful red, marbled. So yeah, let me finish off the rest of this trimming and I will show you the finished product. And through the magic of time, we are done. So I'm no butcher, this is purely amateur stuff going on here. Basically what I've done is taken all the sort of hard fat off the brisket that is never ever gonna render down, because obviously we're gonna smoke this low and slow. Traeger, maximum it's ever going to get to is like 130 degrees Celsius, 135. So the fat is never going to render down at that temperature, so it will remain hard and just go pretty soft and not really do much. So we've just exposed all that good stuff. I mean, look at that, that's pretty marbled for a British brisket. I mean, you see all these American ones that are like, you know, properly marbled, but they're grain fed. This is Angus beef from Scotland, grass fed, grass finished. So yeah, that's why the difference in briskets. But yeah, this is all the stuff we took off. I mean, look at that, there's tons of it there. So it was aged by Longcroft and Old, and as I say, took off all the dead stuff we're never gonna want to eat. So that's all been taken off. Now it's a simple case of seasoning it up. So my friends over at MCR Flavour have collaborated with Guinness to make a load of different rubs, oils, marinade glazes aimed at butcher shops, but they kindly sent me some of their Guinness red tub powder to try. So I'm gonna hit the brisket with this, let it sit overnight, and then we're gonna get it into the smoker tomorrow. So let's do that now. So we get this little beefy baby into a tray. So I'm gonna use a little bit of olive oil to act as a binder. Olive oil, not extra virgin olive oil, because olive oil has no flavour whatsoever. So you won't be able to taste it in your finished product. We purely want it to help the rub stick to the brisket. So only a little bit There we go. Use the dirty hand, clean hand method. Just give it a good old rub and make sure we get in all them sort of nooks and crannies. Cranny. And then, should have done the opening beforehand, but what are you going to do? Right, there we go. Oh yeah, so this has been made in collaboration with Guinness, soy mustard, celery, all them good flavours. It's going to really beef up this brisket. So give it a nice liberal coating with this. And then what we're going to do, just let that sit overnight. Let those flavours really infuse in. It's very ceremonial, this. I feel like the torch for the Olympic Games or something. So basically, second day now. So yesterday we did all the prep, obviously trying to celebrate Traeger Day, and we've got the brisket ready to go in our nice Guinness rub, and some extra smoke in here. So I've just got a pellet tube full of Traeger pellets, which we're just going to light with the fire lighter, and then we're just going to get it all in the grill, and we're going to use the inbuilt thermometer to monitor the cook. It's about, I'd say about a 7 kilo brisket now. We trimmed quite a lot off it. We took all the bone off, all that fat that's not going to render down. So now what we're left with is just the pure brisket meat. So we're going to get it in, monitor the cook. We want to aim for around 93 to 95 degrees Celsius before we sort of start to get the brisket off and let it rest. I reckon it's going to take about 8 hours. As I say, British briskets are fairly lean in comparison to other briskets you can get. So doesn't mean they've not got a lot of flavour in them though. This is going to be amazing. The aged smell of this beef, oh my God, can't wait to eat it. But yeah, we'll get it in. So it's sitting at 70 degrees at the minute. Going to set it on 105 degrees Celsius, super smoke mode. And then yeah, we're just going to get the brisket in and away we go basically. It's effortless, isn't it? Just monitor the dial every now and again. So yeah, let's do that now. So that is it. I will see you in, I would say, 3 to 4 hours, because basically what we want to do, we want to get the brisket to around sort of 65 to maybe 70 degrees Celsius before we think about wrapping it. I'm not sure if I'm going to wrap it or not yet. I want to see how we progress before deciding. I've got some Traeger paper we can wrap it in if we get to that stage, but I'm hoping we just do it unwrapped and it just cooks along nicely. If it starts to dry out a little bit, then we'll wrap it, but we'll see how we progress throughout the day. So we're nearly at that magic number, closing in 92. So it's time to check. So welcome back. Nearly 8 hours later, we've reached 92 degrees Celsius, and I've done the check with the probe. It's probing like butter, no resistance in the brisket. So we're basically getting to get it off now and let it rest. So we're going to use some of our pretty cool Traeger paper. And just magnetise that so it doesn't fall off. And then yeah, time to get this bad boy out. Imagine if I dropped it now. Oh. Yes. Look at that. It's shrunk to almost half the size of it was when we put it in, but the bark is held up very, very nicely. Didn't wrap it, as I said, wasn't sure if I was going to wrap it or not. basically got to 65 degrees really quickly. I'm talking maybe 2 or 3 hours into the actual cook. And then it sort of held its temperature. So we hit the stall where basically the meat starts to sweat and it doesn't increase in internal temperature. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to wrap it. I just want to ride it out. I had the smoke tube in. It was set to 100 degrees Celsius. And towards the sort of 70 degrees mark, I increased the temperature to 135 degrees Celsius for the duration of the cook. So as I said, about 8.5 hours now we've been cooking. So what we're going to do is let this rest and then we will cut into it, and I'm sure it's going to be smoky good. See you in a bit. We're back. We've had a little rest, the brisket, not me, and we're ready to carve. So we're just going to go straight down the center, see how we've done, and then it's time to eat. Wow. Look at that. Oh man, that Guinness rub is, it's unusually sweet, but that's really, really nice. So there we have it. Smoked brisket. Happy Traeger Day, everybody. Enjoy your food, enjoy your Traeger, and I'll see you next time at Jack's Meat Shack. See you later.